We're going to have the fans on periodically throughout the hour. But they will be turned off at the request of any speaker or performer. Let's leave it on for our first song, huh?
To the ones broken-hearted, open our eyes. To the plight of the poor, open our eyes. To the innocent children, open our eyes. Teach us compassion and love. Come and bring light to all people in darkness. Come, set us free from the chains we have made. You are the center, beginning and end. God, come and bring light once again. To the victims of violence, open our eyes. To the ones who seek justice, open our eyes. To those sitting in prison, open our eyes. Teach us compassion and love. Come and bring light to all people in darkness. Come, set us free from the chains we have made. You are the center, beginning
Hi. Welcome. This is, I guess, the first annual, the second Solstice. We've called it a service, and we've called it a concert. It's a concert and service. My name's Aaron Price. I'm the music director. I want to thank all of the musicians and technical support, Sam Weber, the choir. We've got some guest musicians here. Thank you for being here. Thanks to the Upbeats Ukulele Band. I have prepared a short printed welcome that I'd like to read right now. How many of you have sat in your car this week or sat on your porch and marveled at one of the amazing sunsets we have in the mountains? I'm not the only one, I'm sure. How many of you have walked outside lately and said, wow, still light, or it's light already? Yeah, this is the end of that. It's going to start. It'll still seem, I've been doing that almost every day, especially on waking. It's a balance trying to soak in as much nature as possible on the regular. In a world where many of us could easily be in the air conditioning or on screen most of our day, to get to the woods, to get in some water, to watch the sunrise over the sea or over a hill near your house. Many of us have done that recently, but tonight we will honor the changing seasons together in this place of worship to the Creator, the mysterious divine spirit that we are too small to comprehend. Presbyterians live into the mystery rather than dwell in certainty. One thing we believe for certain is that the love of the Creator is available to everyone, no matter what. We center our beliefs around a divine teacher who lived across the ocean, whose teachings and spirits live on among Christians. A key tenet of those teachings is that we all have the divine within us. We try to enact the same compassion and powerful love, even though we live in a totally different era from Jesus of Nazareth. We have corralled the constant rhythm within this mystery into the seasons. We measure the days and track the stars in the sky. We draw borders in the sand between nations and an imaginary equator around the earth. We've made a predictable calendar and mapped our trajectory around our star. Fun fact, we name our planetary system after the star that we orbit, whose name is Sol. So we have the solar system. It does exhibit a rhythm. It's interesting to imagine the days about 2,000 years ago, before Copernicus and Galileo figured out some significant things, when there was no region named the Middle East, and that people that lived in the Middle East were unaware of this continent. Violence and the elements were an everyday threat, and the same range of human emotions was already there. Isn't it interesting that as we have chipped away at the mystery, mapped the planets and the seasons, harnessed electricity and split the atom, we have perhaps more sources of despair and anxiety? Confusion, grief, violence. Consider our desire to control our environment, to dig to the center of our planet, to harvest its treasures that power our technology. Our species dug ourselves into a deep ditch of societal division, and there's a ravine separating us from the rest of Earth's creatures. I don't think we've begun to unravel the mysterious universe that we live in. So let us honor the mystery. Let us recognize the unfathomable Creator that we somehow know to be holding us, despite our misguided actions and ignorance of the teaching that says we are all one together. And that, according to a lesser shared lesson from Jesus, the kingdom of heaven is within you. This evening, we will take in the longest day together because, mysteriously, it feels good to do it. Let's join in spirit and appreciate the best that humanity has to offer: song, art, literature, poetry. Please turn off your phones and turn to your neighbor and say, Happy Solstice. And now let us center ourselves and prepare for this time together with the invocation read by Ellen.
You all want to sit down? I can't imagine a better thing to do with the extra minutes and hours that we have this evening. Let's pray. We come to you, Creator, who have created the boundless universe. You who have choreographed the twirling planets that dance around our soul, S-O-L. You who have created our planet, our earth, and you who have fashioned each of us a part of the perfection of your creation. We come in awe and humility to worship you. As we open to this worship experience this evening, may we step into your time and for a bit, step away from all that's been going on in our time during the past hours of the day, the past weeks of this year, and let us simply be here, now, in the one moment that exists. This moment, which is a holy moment, part of eternity about which Jesus spoke. We honor this pinnacle event between the seasons. The earth fills with your light and breath, and then exhales through the summer and into the winter, only to inhale again, over and over. As our planet orbits our star, we honor these celestial breaths that span eons, yet also contain this moment and this breath. We give thanks for the gifts of story, song, and prayer. We give thanks for the knowledge and understanding we are given, even as we sit in awe of the great mystery, which is you. We give thanks for friendship and love, for those who sit in this room with us and for those who are in other places. And we honor those with whom we seek reconciliation and reconnection. We ask that you open us to new dimensions in this time of worship, new nuances in our hearing of the words and music that will comprise this hour. As the sunlight bathes us all on this longest day, we ask that we each might experience healing. And we ask that we might be instruments of your healing and your peace. We ask that you bring about the healing in this earth, this miraculous planet that you have perfected. Enlighten each of us. We praise you, the ineffable, the divine, the mystery, the one who set the universe in motion and pronounced it good. Amen.
Let's sing one together. It's number 470 in the hymnals. Remain seated.
Sure this is on. Oh, it is. Yay. Wow, choir. That was awesome. Thank you. Thank you, Aaron, for having me here. And for those of you who don't know me, my name's Laura, and I was ordained as a Presbyterian minister 34 years ago. And although I haven't worked in a Presbyterian church in the last 20 years, it always feels like a bit of a homecoming to be here, and this one in particular with Mary Catherine and everyone. So thanks, Aaron. So Solstice, this longest day of the year, this time of sunshine and fire and heat and light, why do we get together to talk about it? Well, in the tradition I've been in most recently, which is the creation spirituality tradition, there is a pattern through the year that The seasons reflect to us some of the ways that we can follow a spiritual path. So in the fall, for example, things are falling off the trees. We're letting go, we're releasing, and that is one of the spiritual paths. Sometimes there are things in our lives we just need to let go of. In the summer, in the brightness, in the heat, in the fire, in the noonday, we come into the via positiva. And that means kind of like what it sounds. It's the way of positivity. It's the way of awe and delight and even ecstasy. And I think that's okay to say in a Presbyterian church. So I was walking earlier this week in Muir Woods, north of San Francisco. So if you've been there, you know it's got the tallest trees in the world reaching up to the sun. And there is an area they call the cathedral, but the whole thing is really a cathedral. And I was thinking as I was walking there how easy it is when you're in a place like that to be full of awe and delight and to just feel reverence and gratitude. But the real trick, isn't it, is feeling that awe, that delight, that reverence, that gratitude when you're not walking in Muir Woods, when you're just having a really ordinary day, or maybe not even a great day, when things in the world might be breaking your heart, like many things are breaking mine these days. How then do you find the reverence and the joy and the light that comes with this via positiva? Sorry, this thing's falling off my head. So one of the things I notice is that in this time of light and big energy, big fiery energy, some of that energy can almost be obscuring to us if we stay up here all the time. I live in a house that has winter views, and you know what that means. In the winter, I can see the mountains. But at this time of year, I can see gorgeous trees all around me, but the mountains are obscured. It's like there's too much to see the mountains. It's sort of like we're going to get to zucchini season soon, and it's just too muchness. How many ways can we really fix zucchini? So what I think we need to do is stay very grounded in our bodies, in our breath, in this present moment. The only place that we can be grounded, the only time that we can be grounded, is in this present moment. We can't ground ourselves for the future. We can't ground ourselves in the past. We can only be grounded in this present moment. And the only place that we can ground ourselves is in these bodies that have been given to us, these bodies that have breath. We can't think our way into getting grounded. We have to breathe our way into getting grounded. So what I'm going to invite you to do today, as part of how we deal with the big fiery energy of the summer, is to join me in a couple of exercises of grounding in our body and in our breath. So I'd like to invite all of you who are able and willing to stand with me for a body prayer. And I'll walk you through it one time and explain the gestures and the words, and then we can join together and do it through. So the first phrase, I want you to imagine you've just gotten a new pair of hiking poles and you're ready to go out and face one of those mountains, and you've got the hiking poles in your hands, and you take your right pole and your right foot and you take that first step and you say, "Here I am." Here I am. And you take your other pole and your other foot and you say, "As I am." As I am. Not as you wish you were, not as you potentially may be, as you are right here in this moment. in the world, open your arms, as it is. Again, not as we wish it may be, but as it is right now. So, here I am as I am in the world as it is. And then push your hands down and feel your feet grounded on the earth. Grounded on the earth. That's the words too. Grounded on the earth. Floating in the cosmos. Going around the sun. That's not the words. I'm just saying that. And then you bring your hands into prayer position at your third eye there between your other two eyes. Awake. And then down to your heart, to the heart of love. So let's see if we can do that together. Here I am as I am in the world as it is, grounded on the earth, floating in the cosmos, awake to the heart of love. One more time. Here I am as I am in this world as it is, grounded on the earth, floating in the cosmos, awake to the heart of love. Thank you. You can sit. So I love that this is a concert / service because I do think music is one of the ways we most connect our whole body and being in the act of worship. And so we're going to do a little chant. And I'm going to sing one line of it, and then I'll have you sing it back to me. And we go through, the words are there in your program if you want to follow along. I should probably remind myself what the words are, too. And then after I've done it just call and response one time, then we'll sing it through together. And I think we're even going to get a little bit of drumming in with us. We are going to get a little drumming with us. Okay, first line. I am the earth in the air I breathe. I am the earth in the air I breathe. I am the earth in the water stream. I am the earth in the water stream. I am the earth in the fire's heat. I am the earth in the fire's heat. I am the earth in my heartbeat. I am the earth in my heartbeat. I am the earth in the air I breathe. I am the earth in the water stream. I am the earth in the fire's heat. I am the earth in my heartbeat. I am the earth in the air I breathe. I am the earth in the water stream. I am the earth in the fire's heat. I am the earth in my heartbeat. I am the earth in the air I breathe. I am the earth in the water stream. I am the earth in the fire's heat. I am the earth in my heartbeat. I am the earth in the air I breathe. I am the earth in the water stream. I am the earth in the fire's heat. I am the earth in my heartbeat.
Sure, make me follow that. Wow, I see the musicians in the choir are showing off again this year. No, that was absolutely mind-boggling. I did what I could to keep my eyes closed and really feel it, but after a while I was like, no, I gotta watch this. It was pretty amazing. Thank you. So, let's talk about light and dark. You know, we have this idea, I think a lot of times, whether we intend to have that or not, that darkness is somehow bad. And of course, in all kinds of writings and music, it's, you know, that duality makes things a little bit more interesting. But me, what I do is I work with ancient languages. And one thing that's very intriguing is that in ancient Aramaic, which is my main language, being an Aramaic wisdom keeper, in Yeshua's language, the word darkness, it sounds like this, chashuka. Chashuka. It sounds like you're kind of clearing your throat, chashuka. And that's the word darkness, but all that it actually meant was unknown. Just means I don't know what it is. And there's this great interplay. You know, we're honoring the sun. And I'm looking at this cross here, and I mean, I can put the sun, the S-U-N-S-O-N, right in the center, because the sun is at the center, the cosmic center of the wheel. What's the wheel? Galilee. Galilee, Galila in Aramaic means wheel. And he was born where? In Nazareth. Well, Nazareth, Nazarete in Aramaic means initiate or initiate. What it really means is a fresh branch, to birth a branch from the direct center, from the taproot, rather than further out. And this beautiful interplay between light and dark, like the idea that the light of the sun, which was also by some metaphorically the light of God, that was called Ra. The light of the moon in Yeshua's language is Nuhra, Nuhra. Now, what's unique about moonlight versus sunlight? It's a reflection. So moonlight is sunlight. Well, the word for human light, human awareness, is Nuhra, which is the same word as moonlight. So if moonlight is sunlight, then human light is God light, reflected. And then that reflection, sometimes we can maybe not see clearly and not realize that the only reason there's any darkness in our life is because we're not willing to look. And I'd like to quote St. James Buffett, rest in peace, when he said that there's a thin line between Saturday night and Sunday morning. And he said the cosmic bakers took us out of the oven just a little too early, and we're all just a bunch of half-baked fruitcakes. Meaning what? Meaning that we're not done. You know, there's this, especially in sort of the new age and new thought and the internet, this idea that we somehow have to figure it all out right now. And that we somehow have to just, it's an interesting thing. The word excruciate comes from the Latin root that means to suffer at the crux. And intriguingly, the crux, that the north and south, the up and down, the vertical of the cross is an ancient symbology that represented our eternal nature. Unborn, undying. In the words of St. Francis of Assisi, what you're looking for is what is looking. Meaning what you're trying to become more of, you already are. And then that horizontal parts are humanus in Latin. That's the human self that again strives and begs and pleads and studies to become what we already are. And we suffer at the cross point. And the part of us that dies on the cross is the part of us that's not even real in the first place. It's got a name. In Koine Greek, it was ego, like the waffle, you know, the little round waffle. We say ego now, but it was ego. In Aramaic, the word was ape, okay? Well, ape is an intriguing word. It was translated as hypocrite. But ape is the same word, as an example, in Matthew 27:51, when it says the veil of the temple. Technically, it says the veil in the doorway or the portal, tareya, of the temple, the Haikla, was rent in twain from top to bottom. Well, where's the temple? That word veil, ape, that's the same word as hypocrite. What does it actually mean? It would be equivalent to the Latin persona, and it means mask. So they wouldn't have heard all this modernized ideas of a hypocrite. When he used that word, that in which you judge another, you are guilty of practicing, they would have heard, oh, it's the mask that an actor wears in a divine play. Ultimately, by the end of the play, the point is to drop the mask. How do we do that? By the acknowledgement of the present moment. When Laura was talking about now, she's talking about the present moment. And how do you do that? By being in spirit. What's the word spirit? In Latin, spiritus. What does that mean? What does spiritus mean? Anybody know? It means breath. The word in Aramaic is ruha. In Hebrew, it's ruach. In Arabic, it's ruch. So what does it mean to be spiritual? You don't think about that when you think about Christianity. As a matter of fact, that word rucha means literally frequency or vibration. That includes breath. It includes heartbeat, drumbeat, magnetism, the heat that you feel on your skin from the sun. Not the heat itself, but the experience of feeling it. Because spirit in Aramaic is a feminine term. What does that mean? It means that, like if I say to you, what do I feel on my arm? What's that? See, we think of that as breath today, but what I feel on my arm is hot air. In Yeshua's language, breath was not the hot air that moves through your lungs. It was your perception of its frequency or its movement. Take a breath. It's going to feel like it's going over top of your head, but it's not. What's happening is, I'm not saying anything complex. What's happening is you're holding on. You're holding on to your programming. So just take a breath. And I have a way to help you let go of that. Because in ancient Aramaic, the language was very much about speaking of frequency and vibration. Just an example, if I say, verily, verily, I say unto thee, you must go see the new whatever movie or something. Nobody says that. Verily, or assuredly, I say unto thee. Do you think he ever said those words? They didn't exist. That word verily or assuredly, you know what it is? It sounds like this in Aramaic, amen. It's the proper pronunciation of amen, and it means I am absolutely affirming to you. So it's interesting how the frequency of his language becomes something very important because we don't realize we're having a relationship with these English words on a page that have almost no connection to the ancient understanding of it, except for in one place. So what I'd like to do is, and I encourage you, they're recording this, go back and watch this. Watch it a few times. You'll pick up a little bit more. Again, it's not complex. This is not rocket science. This is, this is God science. But sometimes it takes a few repeated hearings before you go, oh, wait a second, I didn't even hear him say that. If you understand what I'm saying. So what I'd like to do is actually tone a little bit of a poem. I did this last year, and on the way here, I'm like, maybe I'll do something different. And then I saw that it was in the program. I'm like, oh no, I'll do it again. But because it's so beautiful and it's so rich. And what I'd like to do is offer you the Aramaic Lord's Prayer. So this is the Lord's Prayer in his language, in an ancient dialect, as best as we know that it was pronounced, because nobody fully knows. So I'm just like going to totally make it up, and you won't know the difference. Oh, I'm just kidding. That's the fruitcake part coming out. But thanks, St. James. So all you need to do is be open and just allow me to take you on a little bit of a Shmea Nithgudashishma Tete Malkuza Nihoet Sviana Gaikana Washmea Up Berea Hablan Lachmadasun Kanan Yaumana Washbuklan Chaubain Ktahain Aikana Dabhanan Shwakan Lachayavain Wila Telan Lenesione Yelapatsan Min Bisha Mitu Didalaki Malkuthak Wahal Wateshbukta Lealam Almin. In closing, let's tone one word one time. Like this sounds like this. Just listen. Amen. One big amen, okay? And then back to silence. You ready? Get a big, beautiful rucha, big breath. And in closing, I just repeat that one quote, not from St. James, but from St. Francis. Really let this in. Take a breath. What you are looking for is what is looking. And so it is. Thank you.
My phone is crying. Thanks to, of course, Heather going to play along on this next one. That was the best news I'd had all day. And we can all sing along. It's number 650. Hey, could you hand me my binder off the chair?
imposter after all of that. Y'all are freaking awesome. And the acoustics here are great, so hopefully I won't sound too loud. My mother says that I have a very large voice, so, as only a mother can. My name is Corey. I am a doctor of medieval literature, and David and Aaron have been so kind as to have me come here sometimes and talk on Wednesday nights or Sunday during the day. And Aaron came to the restaurant where I work and said, I'm doing summer solstice. And I said, I love that. I do that. I call it midsummer. And he said, do you want to do something? And as awesome as it is to be asked to do something, it's even better when they say, just do what you want. And I was like, all right. Which then was so open-ended that then when he said, you have like 7 to 8 minutes, I was like, but I'm gonna do it. I got this. So when I was trying to think of what I wanted to do, because poetry and authors live in my head all the time and they really won't be quiet, I sort of spun out and started thinking about the pagan roots of summer solstice and midsummer and how beautiful it really is to see those roots sort of replicated and honored intertextually through various kinds of faith. And one of the things that sort of drew me to medieval literature was the alternative narratives of how we function as an ecosystem of humanity and also in a relationship to divinity. So in paganism and neo-paganism, you have the god and the goddess, and they are equal. However, they each have strengths that they support in each other, and they each have weaknesses where they shore each other up. So in spring and summer is the time of the goddess. She is fertile and beautiful, and she holds the light for us. Within her body, within her frame, within the ways that she moves on the earth. And the god is growing in his power, and he supports her, and he is fascinated by her and devoted. And then as she grows in her fertility and she comes to what would be the third trimester, he's growing in his power, and that would be the fall. And he takes over harvest as she rests and the days begin to wane. And then at Yuletide, she gives birth and the new season begins. And you can see how sort of the pagan tradition and the neo-pagan tradition was easy to tie in and dovetail into the rhythms and the cycles of liturgical calendars and life and nature and sort of bring us all in. So as I was thinking about the goddess and equality in this form of the way in which the divine works with not only just the seasons that keep us alive, but the things in our soul that sustain us, I thought of my favorite poet. And anyone who has had a class with me, I know you just said every time she talks about poets and she says it's my favorite. But this one is the guy. He's the one. He's inked on the front of me and the back of me. I am fully in love with him. He is from the 14th century. His name is Dafydd ap Gwilym. He is Welsh. And if anyone can write a poem about a goddess and a woman, it is a Welshman. If you have heard any Welsh poetry or songs, you know that they can honor the ladies. So I want to read his poem. It is called Morphed as the Sun. Morphed is like the sun, depending on how you translate it. And it is the voice of the god to the goddess. It is a voice of a man to a woman. And it is a voice of kind of the earth crying out to divinity. In Welsh, also, sun is gendered female. So all of this is from a feminine perspective, with the narrator being male. I wait for a softly spoken girl, sheen of white snow on a pebbly field, a radiant girl, God knows, brighter than spume of foam, a glitter with color like the echoing breast of a wave. Ablaze with light, yet modest, she knows how to woo a love song from my lips. From far east to west, across the vastness of earth, the sun moves with the dazzle of a girl, beautifully dressed in the body of day. It shepherds the sky, from horizon to horizon. Where God's ball, the sun, goes, it's anyone's guess. No hand can touch it or grasp so much as its fringe. But come day, aloft, it soars anew, distantly setting world's firmaments alight. Very similar, and cause of my grief, is morphed my woman's setting out of sight. And so the poet, Dafydd ap Gwilym, and the narrator in this, he allows the sun to be the sun, but he also takes Morfydd, the woman that he loves, and he embodies her with it, and he causes her to control its movement. The body of the woman that he loves, bathed in the light of the sun, controls its movement from horizon to horizon, from the east to the west. The god and the goddess functioning equally, one shoring up the other as the other functions in power, and then as it wanes, the other lifting one up. So for summer solstice, we're at the peak, we're at the middle, we're at the most exciting time of fertility. I would say shore each other up, because the light goes out sometimes and it comes back, and it's all a great big cycle. But in the end, you have to hold the light for each other, and I appreciate it. Thanks, y'all.
I'll be reading a poem from Walt Whitman, and the time period he lived in is not unlike ours, where there is great turmoil and a great kind of awakening to the Troubles. The Civil War was brewing. Industrialization was being recognized for what it was doing to the earth. Thoreau said it clearly throughout Walden. And then from the well of being at Walden Pond, came back to write Civil Disobedience. Seems pretty incongruous, doesn't it? But when you put it together, we start to see the great despair and honesty of naming the evil, or naming the disintegration of culture, forces one to seek hope and seek symbols of power and hope that God and the Spirit might be offering to us. So from Civil Disobedience, through the years, of course, we know Gandhi and King read it, used it, and extended it. And it has changed our century, and hopefully will continue to change the next century as we live into it early on here. So this poem is about summer, and it just doesn't even have a name that I know of. It could be called Souvenirs of Earliest Summer, or it could be called Gather the Welcome Signs. And that's what I invite us to do as we live into summer here in one of the most beautiful places on earth. And that's sort of what Whitman does. And then he shares some of his grief and his pain. And then there's kind of a surprise with some moving of the wind, the breeze, like a lover, a breeze, like love among us. So, Walt Whitman. Sort me, O tongue and lips, for nature's sake, souvenirs of earliest summer. Gather the welcome signs. The summer approaching with richness, the early summer grass so rich. With that early summer perfume, a show of the summer softness. The summer fully awakening. The bright sun shining and sailing clouds aloft. Fresh blows the dallying breeze. The fresh, cool summer scent, odors of pine and oak, oceans of mint. The air of ripe summer bears lightly along white down balls of myriads of seeds. Everywhere, green patches of dingy blossomed horse mint, wafting a spicy odor through the air, especially evenings. Green the summer verdure, the droves and crops increase. The country here is beautiful with hay and wheat. They are just now in the height of harvest for both. O harvest of my lands, O boundless summer growths, fields and farms and rolling country like paradise. Busy, the far, the sunlit panorama, the fields all busy with labor. Farmers in the fields with stout boys pitching and loading the sheaves, the loosely stocked grain, the slow-moving wagons passing. Below, a fertile valley spread with barns and the orchards of summer. The barns are well filled. The familiar, delicious perfume fills the barns and lanes. Honeybees, busy around the hive of a summer forenoon. darting through the air or lighting on the hive, their thighs covered with the yellow forage. The setting summer sun shining in my open window, showing the swarm of flies suspended, balancing in the air in the center of the room, darting athwart, up and down, casting swift shadows in specks on the opposite wall where the shine is. I lean and loaf at my ease, observing a spear of summer grass. It will have a good effect upon me the rest of the summer. Perennial hardy life of me with joys mid rain and many a summer sun. The delicious, tender summer day. Transparent summer morning. Mad, naked summer night. All summer the sound of the sea splashing my bare feet in the edge of the summer ripples. Summer rivulets by the roadsides. The reflection of the summer sky in the water. Receive the summer sky, you water, and faithfully hold it till all downcast eyes have time to take it from you. Today is burning hot. The sun poured down whole lumps of red-hot fire. Not a tree, not a shed to shelter us from the intolerable glare. I too never used to think anything of heat or cold from age 20 to 50. But last summer, I felt the heat severely. For the first time, me, old, alone, sick, weak down, melted, worn with sweat. Sunset breeze, whispering something again unseen, where late this heated day thou enterest at my window door, thou laving, tempering all, cool freshing, gently vitalizing, nestling, folding close and firm, yet soft. Companion better than talk, book, or art. So sweet, thy primitive taste to breathe within. Thy soothing fingers on my face and hands. Thou messenger, magical, strange bringer to body and spirit of me, blown from lips so loved, now gone. Minister to speak to me here and now. What word has never told and cannot tell? Art thou not universal concrete's distillation? Hast thou no soul? Can I not know or identify thee? Sauntering later in the summer, before I think where I go, solitary. Year that trembled and reeled beneath me. Your summer wind was warm enough, yet the air I breathed froze me. A thick gloom fell through the sunshine and darkened me. Winds blow north, winds blow south. Some future summer bursting forth to verdant leaves or sheltering shade, to nourishing fruit, apples and grapes, blackberries in summer. And love and faith like scented roses blooming.